Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint, or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper, and let's dive headfirst into the chaotic, utterly magnificent saga of the Three Kingdoms. Not just a kingdom, mind you, but three of them, duking it out like a particularly brutal pub brawl that lasted for 100 years. This ain't your granddad's bedtime story, unless your granddad was a warlord with a penchant for backstabbing and epic poetry. Now picture this. It's the late 2nd century AD in China. The mighty Han dynasty, which had been lording it over everyone for 4 centuries, is crumbling faster than a stale biscuit. Emperors are puppets, eunuchs are running wild, and the whole damn empire is basically one big festering wound. You've got famines, rebellions, and enough political intrigue to make your head spin. It's a proper mess. The Yellow Turban Rebellion kicks things off, and suddenly everyone with a sword and a bit of ambition is thinking, right, time to carve myself a slice of this imperial pie. And that, my friends, is where our story truly begins. This isn't just about war. It's about loyalty, betrayal, ambition, and the kind of larger-than-life characters that make Shakespeare look a bit pedestrian. We're talking about men who could outwit Machiavelli, outfight Achilles, and probably hold their liquor better than half the blokes in a pub. First up, we've got the big players, the 3 blokes who eventually carve out their own empires. Think of them as the baddest, the brainiest, and the one who tried hardest. Let's start with Cao Cao. This man was a proper pragmatist, a brilliant strategist, and utterly ruthless. He's the kind of fella who'd offer you a handshake while planning to stab you in the back with the other hand, then offer you a witty proverb about the transient nature of trust. He started as a minor official, but when the shit hit the fan, he saw opportunity. He was a master of political maneuvering, gathering powerful allies and picking off weaker rivals. He famously said, "Rather than I betray the world, let the world betray me." Which, let's be honest, is a bit rich coming from him, but you've got to admire the chutzpah. Then there's Liu Bei. Now Liu Bei is a different breed altogether. He claimed to be a distant descendant of the Han imperial family, which, let's be fair, was probably as true as my claim to be royalty, but he had a heart of gold, or at least a public relations team that was second to none. He genuinely cared for his people, or so the stories go. He was the underdog, the moral compass, the guy you'd root for. He started with nothing, just a couple of loyal sworn brothers, Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, who were basically the brawn and the booze of his operation. This trio's brotherhood was legendary. They swore an oath in a peach garden, promising to live and die together. Now that's loyalty. And finally, we have Sun Quan. He inherited his power, mind you, from his older brother, Sun Si, who was a proper swashbuckler, cut down too young. Sun Quan was the youngest of the 3 main contenders, and he held down the fort in the rich, fertile lands of the south, around the Yangtze River. He was a bit more reserved, a bit more cautious, but shrewd as a fox. He built a formidable navy and understood the importance of securing his borders. He wasn't as flashy as Cao Cao or as charismatic as Liu Bei, but he was a survivor. Now these 3 weren't exactly holding hands and skipping through fields of daisies. Oh no. This was a brutal, no-holds-barred fight for supremacy, and the mother of all battles, the one that truly shaped the Three Kingdoms period, was the Battle of Red Cliffs. Imagine this. Cao Cao, the big dog, had pretty much conquered the entire north. He thought he was unstoppable, like a Roman legion on steroids. He had a massive army, something like 200,000 men, though some stories say even more. He rolls down south, confident he's about to sweep aside Liu Bei and Sun Quan like dust bunnies. Liu Bei with his small ragtag army, and Sun Quan with his strong navy but still outnumbered, had a choice: surrender or fight. This is where the genius of their strategists comes into play. Liu Bei had Zhuge Liang, a man whose name is practically synonymous with master strategist. He could predict the weather, outwit armies with a flick of his fan, and generally make everyone else look like they were playing checkers while he was playing 4D chess. Sun Quan had Zhou Yu, a brilliant commander in his own right, perhaps a touch arrogant, but damn effective. Zhuge Liang and Zhou Yu, despite their mutual distrust, cooked up a plan. Cao Cao's northern troops, used to land warfare, were getting seasick on the Yangtze. So in a stroke of genius, or utter madness, Cao Cao linked all his ships together, making them more stable. Sounds clever, right? Except it made them a giant floating tinderbox. By the way, get this. One of the lesser known facts about the Battle of Red Cliffs is that a key part of the Allied strategy involved a false defection by two of Cao Cao's naval officers, Gan Ning and Tai Shiqi, who pretended to switch sides to gain Cao Cao's trust, only to turn on him during the battle. This level of double-crossing was par for the course. The combined forces of Liu Bei and Sun Quan then sent a few fire ships, packed with kindling and oil, hurtling towards Cao Cao's linked fleet. With the wind, which Zhuge Liang had supposedly predicted, or perhaps just got lucky with, blowing in their favour, the fire spread like wildfire on a linked fleet of wooden ships. The inferno was so immense, it lit up the night sky for miles. Cao Cao's grand invasion fleet was decimated, his army routed, and his dream of unifying China under his banner, at least for now, went up in smoke. This battle wasn't just a win, it solidified the three-way split of China. After Red Cliffs, the map of China started to look like this. Wei, Cao Cao's kingdom, dominating the north, the most powerful and largest. Think of them as the industrial powerhouse, with a strong military and a knack for bureaucracy. Their capital was Luoyang, and later Xuchang. Shuhan, Liu Bei's kingdom. Based in the west, in Sichuan province, a naturally defensible region. These were the idealists, the moral crusaders, always banging on about restoring the Han dynasty. Their capital was Chengdu, Wu, Sun Quan's kingdom, holding the rich lands of the south and along the Yangtze. They were the naval experts, the traders, and the masters of the waterways. Their capital was Jianye, modern-day Nanjing. Now let's get a bit philosophical, shall we? When you look at these three, you can really dig into their core identities. Cao Cao? What was his purpose? To unify China, yes, but more importantly, to rule it himself. Was there moral clarity in his decisions? Rarely. He was pragmatic to a fault. He'd kill thousands if it served his purpose. His integrity was fluid. He'd use any means to achieve his ends. He believed the strong should rule, and he believed he was the strongest. His actions often didn't align with any stated moral principles, only with strategic advantage. He was a survivor, a conqueror, and a visionary, but one without a soft side. Was this decision a stroke of genius or madness to link his ships? Pure arrogance, thinking he could defy natural elements and naval tactics just because he had more men. Did his actions match his values? His stated value was order, and he certainly brought that, but his methods were often ruthless and self-serving. Liu Bei. His purpose was ostensibly to restore the Han dynasty, but ultimately it was to establish his own kingdom and rule justly. He projected an image of moral clarity, always championing the common folk and acting with what appeared to be righteous indignation. Did he always uphold this? Probably not, no one's perfect, especially in that cutthroat era. But he tried to maintain an image of integrity, and his loyalty to his sworn brothers, Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, was legendary. He understood the power of belief and rallied people around an ideal. He was the counterpoint to Cao Cao's cynical pragmatism. His actions were generally aligned with his stated values, which is why he garnered so much support despite his early military setbacks. Sun Quan. His purpose was to secure and expand his inherited domain. He was a regional king, less concerned with grand unification and more with stability and prosperity for his lands. His moral clarity was more about pragmatic self-preservation and protecting his people rather than abstract ideals. His integrity was generally solid within his own domain. He was a consistent and reliable ruler, but he was also willing to play the long game, form alliances of convenience and betray them when necessary. He was about consolidating power and ensuring the longevity of his house. His decisions were driven by practical concerns and a strategic long-term vision for Wu. For decades after Red Cliffs, these three kingdoms vied for supremacy. There were countless battles, sieges, and political chess matches. Heroes rose and fell. Guan Yu, Liu Bei's loyal sworn brother, was eventually captured and executed by Wu, leading to a massive, albeit ill-fated revenge campaign by Liu Bei. This highlights the brutal reality of the era. Even the most celebrated figures could meet a swift, inglorious end. The stories from this period are incredibly rich. You've got Zhuge Liang borrowing the east wind for Red Cliffs, or his empty fort strategy where he bluffed an attacking army by appearing completely undefended. These are tales of cunning, courage, and sometimes sheer audacity. But history, as it often does, moves on. The sheer exhaustion of constant warfare began to take its toll. The population plummeted, the land was ravaged, and eventually, the descendants of these mighty heroes couldn't maintain the same level of genius or ruthless ambition. Ultimately, it wasn't one of the original three kingdoms that won. The Sima family, who had been powerful strategists and regents within Cao Cao's Wei kingdom, gradually consolidated their power, overthrew Wei, and then proceeded to conquer Shu Han and finally Wu. The Jin dynasty was established, bringing an end to the Three Kingdoms period in 280 AD. It was a proper dark horse wins the race scenario, proving that even the most formidable empires can be undone from within. So what can we learn from this century of mayhem and genius? Well, for one, loyalty is a powerful thing, but ambition is even more so. You can have the noblest intentions, like Liu Bei, or the most ruthless pragmatism, like Cao Cao, but ultimately, the tides of history are relentless. The Three Kingdoms period is a testament to the enduring power of human will, the brilliance of military strategy, and the cyclical nature of power. It's a story of epic heroes, tragic downfalls, and the sheer grit it takes to survive in a world gone mad. It reminds us that even when things seem utterly chaotic, there are always those who see an opportunity to shape destiny, for better or worse. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother fav and like, share, and subscribe.